Very good by the gunshots.
Very good. I'll definitely leave the volume on a little bit. Okay, so here's Feelin So Lucky, and this is a 16-hand 5-year-old thoroughbred mare by Made from Lucky. And I left the volume on for that first little bit because we have these wonderful new neighbors who like to shoot their guns a lot on the weekend, and I find it super, super annoying. And you never know, of course, when all of a sudden there's going to be gunshots. And yeah, I think it's a lot for any horse to have to deal with, especially such young green horses. So she could not have been better about just completely ignoring the absolutely random, really loud gunshots coming from through the tree line. I think I spooked more than she did. And I just felt absolutely no internalizing of any sort of nervousness or anxiety from her. And I can say, hey, there was gunshots and it was loud, but unless you actually can hear it for yourself, you really kind of can't appreciate just how loud and unpredictable it is. So anyway, I thought she was fabulous, such a good girl. So today we did a sort of a formal introduction of ground poles and cavalettis. And actually, I wanted to do a little bit more with her after we did this little set of sort of trotting and cantering over poles and cavalettis. We put the standards up to cross rails, and I thought we would just do a couple cross rails. However, at some point during this, she grabbed her left front heel. And so after we took our walk break and we picked the trot back up, she was just a little bit off. So of course I jumped off and it was super obvious. She had a little bit of blood on her heel. That was the problem. So of course that's where our day ended. But it really doesn't matter. If we had put them up, she clearly would have still done them. It would have been no big deal. I think you really can tell everything you need to just from how she sort of handles what we did get to. She's just so lovely. I mean, she's so easy. She's super balanced. She really is quiet. I mean, still learning the go button for sure of going forward from the leg a little bit. It took me a little bit to get her to come away cantering, or actually I couldn't get her to come away cantering until we just sort of cantered the approach. So we had to just learn to start coming in the canter in order to sort of muster the energy to get her to come over and cantering away. And actually, this is sort of funny. I think it's coming up here in just a second. So at this point in our ride, she's really nicely trotting over everything nice and straight, no big deal. This is very easy. I want her to land in the canter, but she's just not quite putting in that much effort. So I'm thinking, okay, well, we're just going to start coming in the canter. So I try to come in the canter to a couple of things. And as you can see, she wants to break to the trot, which is absolutely no big deal. That's very normal. And it's a very fine line that the rider has to walk Of course, you want to encourage them to keep coming in the canter. I think it might be, nope, not there. You want to encourage them, but if the horse is very green and needs a longer second to process and they're telling you they need to trot, then you also need to respect that. So you can see, I'm wanting to come in the canter, but a couple of steps out, she's saying, hey, no, I think I need to trot. So, okay, that's kind of we're in that gray space. And then actually something hilarious happens. I think it's not over this pole that we're about to go to. It's to the next one. We're coming around this corner in the canter, like we've come to the last half a dozen or so. And she sees something out of the corner of her eye and just as a little spook, just one step of a little spook, but it actually just gives her like enough of a pep up from the spook just to keep marching in the canter towards the pole, and actually it worked out brilliantly. So thanks to whatever gave her that little spook, because it actually really helped me out. It couldn't have been timed better. I think it's this time. Here, we're gonna come around the corner. She's gonna have the tiniest little spook that's just gonna give her the little bit of zest she needs. Oh, not there. Oh, must be coming up the next time because she's still wanting to trot over. She's funny. Maybe it's this time. And also, I just want to point out, she's doing just absolutely beautiful canter transitions, both directions. There it is. That's the little spook. And that was perfect. That was exactly what we needed. Just a little bit of a boost of a go button. And then from here on out, actually, she just happily canters around over everything. So just funny. I couldn't have timed that more perfectly. Actually, it was the perfect little training aid. And so now she's sort of like, she's popping. She's up in front of my leg. She's like, I'm figuring this out. So cute, cantering over her cavaletti. So that was her little light bulb moment. I haven't had a light bulb moment from a spook in quite a while, so that was funny. She's really just such a good girl. She made all of this very easy. And, when you're starting such a green horse over poles and things, if your biggest problem is that they're being too quiet, then you have no problems. That's absolutely a magnificent place to be. So good. And I just want to point out that during all of this, of course, I've taken the volume out, but there's still random gunshots happening every once in a while through this whole ride. So anyway, we took a walk break here, and then she came up sore from grabbing her heel, but she couldn't have been better. Just what a lovely mare, and it was a fun ride today. She was excellent.